So hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. This is Haddie's webinar event about UCSD's undergraduate business major programs and internships. And also we're going to discuss some of Haddie's own internship services that's open to both high school and like college, and also graduate students, honestly. But we offer a range of different internships in different kind of business departments, but we'll go over that. To start off, my name is Amy. I've been with Haddie for 1 year, and I started off as a marketing intern, and I've transitioned to become one of Haddie's digital marketing leads this summer. And I'm joined by Miss Danielle Pan, which is the founder of Haddie Education, and also two of our own managers who are also students at UCSD's undergraduate Rady School of Management. So they'll be speaking a little bit about UCSD's services. So I just want to give some time to Danielle to introduce herself and a little bit of Haddie too, if that's okay with you, Danielle.
Oh, hi. I think everybody knows me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Danielle Pan. I'm the founder for Haddie Education and Haddie.com. So thank you for joining us. And I will give you back the microphone.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know if everyone knows, but UCSD's undergraduate business program under Rady School of Management is a very competitive and increasingly competitive program to get into. And locally, it's a very like prestigious program, you could say. And we're very fortunate to have two of their students with us working with Haddie. And I'm going to give some time to them to introduce themselves, their majors, and what they've been doing with Haddie. So Gerard, do you want to start us off?
Yes, for sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Gerard Basic. I am a UCSD student, a rising senior. I am currently studying international business there. Then Kevin, do you want to go ahead and say what major?
So, hey everybody, my name is Kevin Yang. I'm a rising sophomore at UCSD, and I'm double majoring in business economics and real estate development.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys. So the way this little webinar is going to work is we're going to start off with some questions that I'm going to be asking Gerard and Kevin about UCSD's specifically. And then we're going to give some time for all three of us to kind of talk about Haddie's intern programs. And at the end, we'll have like 10 minutes for anyone who has any questions. You can just put it in the chat or feel free to unmute, and we'll be taking questions about that. Does anyone have anything before we get started? Oh, okay, wonderful. So Gerard, could you give us a brief introduction to UCSD's Rady School of Management?
Yes, for sure. Am I able to share screen? It says host disabled. I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys the website. So most of UCSD's business program classes are through the Rady School of Management. So let me go ahead and show you the different options, give you the overview. Still says host disabled sharing. I think you have to click on that arrow. Oh, perfect. Okay, now I have it. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So there are three major programs undergraduate that you could do at UCSD. So let me go ahead and find undergraduate programs. So they have 6 different minors, but let's go through the majors first. So we have business economics, international studies, international business, which is me. Then we have business psychology. So we have 3 different ones. As you can see by the name of it, it kind of goes into different types of industries depending on where you're planning on heading after college. Then we also have some minors as well. Vast majority, if you're just looking to add on business minor into your major, you have that option. Then we have some specific business related minors as well, from accounting, finance, then kind of supply chain, entrepreneurship, then marketing. So you kind of have the whole spectrum of business options at UCSD. And that's pretty much what we have as an overview.
Yeah.
Then Kevin, do you want to kind of, sorry, I wanted Kevin to talk about the business economics since it's his
major.
Of
course.
You want to kind of bring into that, then I'll kind of share what's the difference between my major and his major.
Absolutely. So at UCSD, there's also an economics department, which actually isn't part of Rady. And my major specifically, the business economics major, is actually a combination. It is more of a combo major between the Rady School of Management and the economics department. So that's why Within my major, I'm taking both a lot of upper and lower division Rady courses, which are management courses, as well as some upper and lower division econ courses. That's one of the biggest differences. Whereas Gerard's major is on, I believe, on the international studies department, right, Gerard? Yeah. So the biggest difference will probably be that mine's a little bit more technical, whereas Gerard's is a lot more conceptual.
Exactly, right on point. Then since we don't have any business psychology, kind of gets into the sciences. Really, this one you could get into a lot of things. You could maybe dive into getting an MBA after finishing your undergraduate, or even going into pre-law, right, with the business psychology background in there. So a lot of different options. Amy, what's the next part of?
Yeah, no, I was actually wondering, could you guys speak a little bit about why you chose your specific major and what you plan to do with that after?
Sure. So I actually started I got accepted for chemistry when I got into UCSD. So then I hopped into political science, hopped back into biology, then went back into poli-sci, then I finally landed into international business. And it's just from my own experiences, I think I kind of figured out what I wanted to do. In your first year, you kind of take a lot of general ed classes, so you kind of get a mix of everything. Then you kind of just figure out what you're good at, where your skill sets are, and like what potential you have in these industries. And I've always known that I wanted to get into business. I've always gone into a room, any business, and kind of figured, I looked at everything from the lighting of a room to the seating arrangement to the color of the walls, and every decision you make in a business is strategy, from the color, the font, what social media platforms you decide to advertise on. Everything matters in business. And I've always liked to be a part of teams where you're strategizing and figuring out how you're going to continue to develop a business and scale it to the next level. So I've always enjoyed doing that. In high school, I've kind of done my own type of freelancing. I've done like photography, videography. I used to do a lot of my own like freelance work back in high school instead of working a job. Then I've kind of transitioned into software and marketing since I'm a little bit younger. It was really quick for me to pick up software and technology. So utilizing that for business is the biggest thing now, especially after COVID. Most businesses have some sort of digital presence and assets that they maintain. So I've kind of find my niche through that. And yeah, I'm glad that I'm in business. There's so much that you could do. If you're bored, you could change gears and shift into another avenue. So there's always a lot of options, and I like having options. So that's why I kind of laid into like the business route.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Gerard. How about you, Kevin?
Yeah, for me, actually, because I'm currently a rising sophomore, a lot of my time throughout high school, I was actually more of a STEM person, specifically within engineering. I absolutely loved physics up until the point I took AP Physics C, where I realized, this is a little bit too difficult for me, and I really wanted to change paths. So within my senior year in high school, I discovered, business management, especially stocks. I got really interested in that. And that's why when I came into UCSD, I actually really wanted to become part of a business environment. When I applied for UCSD, I got in as an international business major, actually. So what Gerard is actually in right now. However, after exploring through my first quarter at UCSD, I also decided to, take on some challenges and go back to my STEM roots. I wanted to take a look at some data science and programming courses. For example, I took MGT3, which is Quantitative Methods in Business. I learned a bit about Python, R, and Stata, and I realized that a lot of these quantitative analysis skills I'm actually really interested in. And because of that, that's why I decided to change my major to business economics, so I can get a combination of both the management side of business as well as these technical analysis aspects that I really enjoyed in the past.
Yeah,
And
so
may
with
I also,
sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to add, he brought in so good points. I think the biggest thing with our programs here at UCSD is there's a lot of interchangeability between each thing, right? Like if you go to a school of business program, you're stuck in that program and you need to stick with it. Whereas, like I said, I started off in chemistry. So it gives you the ability to kind of find your place where you belong, you try different things. And that's why I enjoy going to UCSD. And the biggest misconception is you need to go into a big school of business to be able to get recruited into a top Fortune 500 company. That's not the case. You could go to frankly, I think all the UCs are great. It gives you a good network into big companies, especially we're in California. So a lot of companies are here. A lot of the major companies that people want to work for are in California. So as long as you have some sort of business major or minor attached to your degree, you're golden. And it gives you the opportunity to try new things. So I just wanted to point that out that you don't need to go to like the top program. You could go to a school like a STEM major school. So like as most of you all know that UCSD is a STEM driven school, but business is not just in finance. You're not just doing investment banking and business. You need business students in software. So a lot of newer jobs now after the pandemic is like product management. So it's that middle way point between a business manager and also software. How can we move along business development projects and also understand what the engineers need to do? What does the marketers need to do? So there's a lot of interchangeability between both. So there's a lot of things that you could do. And yeah, you could hop in between different things. You have marketing, you have finance here. I wanted to point out something. I actually just pulled up an article about top companies in San Diego. And we have Qualcomm, of course. We have a veteran from Qualcomm of 20 years, Dan. Major digital communications product company that does manufacturing for digital products. We have a lot of a variety. We have, like I said, biotech companies in here. You have Petco, just a lot of Jack in the Box. You have a lot of energy companies here, different things. So medical products, of course, we have Scripps Health. So no matter what industry you're getting into, even if you don't know, I know that's stressful. In high school, you don't know where you're going. It doesn't matter. You don't need to know right away. I think you just need to go by your gut, what feels right, and just go with the flow. Then you kind of find your way through it. And going to a 4-year already kind of sets you up, because a lot of these people at UCs and IVs, they're already looking to excel. So it's great that you're already in a 4-year and you have people looking to achieve higher. So you're already in that competitive landscape. Then you kind of just find your place. Try out different organizations where that kind of dive into each of these different industries, join different organizations, maybe clubs that kind of try out these different things and figure out what you're good at and what you like to do.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Gerard said about like finding your place within business and stuff. So as you guys know, Haddee is like a startup education company, right? And in my time here, it was like during the summer that I realized that I was super interested in like product management after probably in big tech. But Haddee, I would say, definitely gave me a lot of like exposure to different kind of positions within just like the business realm. And I'm actually going to Cornell to study design with like a business major, minor. But I think I totally agree that like anyone can kind of get into business without like going to like a super, like rigid business program. But yeah, so I heard, so Gerard, you got in as a chemistry major, and then Kevin got in as an international business major. Kevin, could you talk about how hard it is to get into like business, just like from high school? And then Gerard, could you talk about how hard it is to transfer into the business programs?
Sure.
Yeah, I can start off. So ultimately, depending on the major you get in, obviously there are some more competitive and less competitive majors. For international business, because it's part of the international studies department, it's a little bit less competitive in comparison, for example, to chemistry or to biology, especially because UCSD is a STEM oriented school. However, this doesn't mean that you can just have any background and get in. If you're planning on applying for business, I would definitely recommend to take business-based internships and classes during high school. For example, I took applied business and finance as well as macro and micro throughout high school, as well as had internship experience before I applied. The school, although they do look at rigorous grades and academic standards, they also really care a lot about experience, because ultimately UCSD is a pretty holistic school, and looking at the 7-college program with all these different kinds of GEs, your background outside of just standard academic achievement is also really important. I don't know if you want to add anything on that, Gerard.
No, right on dot. What was I actually had a question for you. Was it always international business? Sorry, it was for Kevin. Was it international business? Where were you actually looking to apply? Was that the major that you applied for, or did you have
Yes.
other options?
That was the major I applied for, right?
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was chemistry. I kind of just found my way into what what I liked. I took a lot of political science classes, but I don't know. After reading so much about Aristotle and Plato's, there's only so much you could do. Like we're in the present, so there's only so much you could do about reading these things. So I'm very experience driven. I like to learn from actually trying things. So I like learning about business. So I'll actually dive into like why I chose international studies because um me and Kevin were going through this. I want to show you my specific requirements and why I think it was like a good choice for me. Let me find it. I always look for the, what's it called? Should pull up. Oh, my bad. I didn't put business. I always look at this because, you know, we're always trying to degree audit ourselves and make sure that we're on track. So let me make sure. Perfect. Okay. So international studies, there's a language requirement. Then we also have some basic stuff. So basic general ed, you got to take your math, some econ class, but let me get into the core of the business. So these are the 5 required courses for international business. They're all MGT, Rady School of Business or Rady School of Management. And it kind of has a little bit of everything. So that's why I kind of enjoyed it. As you can see, MGT 103, that's your product marketing and management class. So that one's everything about marketing, how a company markets themselves. In this class, we talked about a lot of how car dealerships market themselves. We dived into a lot of case studies, like how did Apple start? How did, there's actually, what's the, WD-40. WD-40 is headquartered in San Diego. It's such a small company, and how did a small company like WD-40 expand into being such a national phenomenon? It's like it became such a big company. How did they market themselves to be able to get to that level? So we dived into Amazon and how they were able to scale from. If you guys know that Amazon actually started as a big online seller of just books. They started off as books. They found a niche of just books, selling as many books as they could. They marketed themselves back in the day as being the largest e-commerce store for books. So they had a whole range of used and new books on there. Then eventually they released the Kindle. Then they kind of slowly branched off, and because they had the infrastructure of disbursement, being able to ship out, they were able to scale their business and bring in other industries into their SKUs, right? They expanded into being the online Walmart. So we kind of dived into how they were able to scale that. And a big part of any business, before you could think about software, before you could think about anything, it's really, you need to bring revenue, and revenue is based off of sales. So in this class, you kind of find the major pinpoint of any business is sales and marketing and how they're able to do that. So that's a major part of business. The next part is something related to more of like a business economics major, is new venture finance, enterprise finance. So basically in this class, we talked about a lot of how can you get funding for a business? How can you go into Wall Street and get funding? We talked about how to evaluate your company and get funding from venture capitalists. And this one kind of dived into more technicalities about what is the terminology if you're looking to get funding. So another side of it. So let's say you're Amazon now, right? You would also need this information. Now that Amazon's doing a little bit better in the book side, how can they expand their business? So now we're diving into a little bit of finance and having to be able to capture funding for your business to scale it. Then global business strategy was a little bit of the conceptual side. Is it kind of took the role of like a C-level executive and how they kind of view business, right? At that level, you're looking at more of options. This is what the stats show. This is what all the analytical reports show. How should we shift our business? Where should we put our funding? So now that we got the funding, where should we put our money? So it's all about looking at the micro level analytical reports of, okay, this product is not doing so well, but this product is doing way better. Should we put more money into this product rather than this one? Should we maybe refine this product and maybe enhance it and put money into R&D and maybe figuring out, should we fix this product up? Maybe we're not targeting the right demographic for this product. So it's taking a bigger idea of business and looking at it at much a step back view of business. Then MGT 164 was about, I like this class a lot. It's more of the management side of running a business, of how to become a leader. So a lot of people up in higher places, some of them don't even have degrees, and they were able to do that because they just know how to bring people together. And a lot of the case studies that we learned about in 103, a lot of those CEOs that did really well, they said that people are the ones that make your business. Without the people that run it, you can't survive and you can't scale. So it talked a lot about emotional intelligence and how you're able to kind of understand people, because we all come from different backgrounds, different places in life, and you kind of have to figure out, how can we find an even point? How can we change the culture of our company and motivate people to work? So it really dived into it. I enjoyed it a lot. A lot of people don't have experience prior to this class about management. So it kind of gives you how to maneuver yourself as a manager, and how should you remain humble and remain smart about how you continue to climb up the ladder. So that would kind of dive into that. Then this kind of dived into more of business ethics. So now we're kind of diving into ethics about how can we ethically move up the ladder without actually, going against our morals, going against our values, our core values. So it kind of dived into that, and also dived into, nowadays, a bigger side of all these bigger companies now is corporate social responsibility. So mainly about like the environment, climate change, how can we transition our company into a more sustainable route, rather than, doing a lot of the, bad practices that they used to do back in the 1990s, 1970s. They used to do a lot of they were just looking to make money. Nowadays, now that you have all these, concrete businesses that have been here for a long time, they're trying to change up their ways and show that they could, make smart, profitable decisions, but also help the environment and help social good as well. So the reason, I know that was a kind of too detailed, but the reason why I wanted to bring this up was it dives into everything. That's why I enjoy my major. It kind of gives you all the different options. You got to see different things that you like. Then from here, maybe get a minor into something that you enjoy. For example, like I said, these minors, now that you know that international studies kind of gives you maybe the background of all business, maybe I want to get into global trade. Maybe you should get into supply chain, right? COVID-19 kind of switched out how we kind of do supply chain. Back then, we used to do a lot of domestic and international trade. Now it's all regionalized, and more people are finding, manufacturers within your local area. So it really affected the supply chain for a lot of companies. And now we're slowly building it back up. So if you enjoy supply chain and figure out how to fix manufacturing, get into that. But if, let's say, 103 was really good for you and you liked understanding the sales side and understanding what looks good and what catches people's attention, then get into marketing, right? So you have those options. You have innovation, entrepreneurship. Then you also have accounting, right? Accounting is a license that you could get, and right away after you get your CPA license, you have a good job that you're able to get. So you have those options. Or let's say you start off in just getting an economics major. You could get an accounting minor with that and maybe get your CPA after. So there's a lot of different options, and it's just, you got to find your place. No one could tell you what you like to do, but you'll kind of find your groove once you're in it. Am I missing anything, Kevin? Good.
I'm thinking I could add on a bit, saying, because my major is also quite similar. You talked a lot about these MGT courses. There's a lot of management-based backgrounds. There's a lot of conceptual things. My major, on the other hand, is also more about a lot of statistical analysis, because like we said at UCSD, there's a large diversity of business options that you can choose from. And within my major, I took a lot of statistics courses. For example, I took Econ 5, which was one of my favorite courses, where we learned how to conduct linear regressions across different variables. For example, if the price of this product changes, what are our expected sales? If we change one variable of the product, what would happen to the price of a different product, etc. And also at the same time, I also had to take business ethic courses. For example, MGT 16, if you recall, I'm pretty sure you had to take that as well. So depending on your major, you're going to have a very different style of business, but that will definitely not limit your options. So for those high schoolers who are looking to apply for UCSD, who are confused about what kind of business they're going to be looking at, your options are definitely not limited to the major that you choose from. For example, if you're taking pure econ instead of business economics, which is not related to the Rady School of Management, there's going to be a lot more math. I have to take, for my major, and I'm pretty sure you do as well, we have to take up to Calculus 3 as our final math course, whereas the pure econ majors have to take up to Math 18, have to take up to the Math 109 series. So there's all a very large variety of courses that you can choose from, and it ultimately just comes to your background and what you like to choose. Transferring between majors within business is also not that hard either, especially if you're looking at business economics or international business where it's interchangeable and uncapped. You have a lot of options to explore. So definitely keep that in mind when you're applying for UCSD.
Yeah, I just
Gotcha.
want to circle back. Kevin, you were saying how like getting into international business, UCSD's Rady's school, like you had a lot of prior business experience, whether that be internships or just like extracurriculars. Could you guys kind of talk about what you guys did in high school, like internships or other programs, and how you got those like opportunities? Kevin, do you want to start us off? Yeah.
Yeah, I can go first. So for me, I really focused on taking classes that were related to business because I had the privilege of being able to go to business specialized classes. For example, I know how a lot of American students take AP classes, but I'm from Shanghai, so I spent the last 12 years overseas, and we had a little bit of a different education system over there. Not only do we have APs, we also had applied honors courses. And one of these courses, for example, was business and finance. And being someone who is extremely interested in business and I want to take a look at finance in general, I did take that course. And just being able to pad your resume or your application that can display that you have a business background is definitely beneficial towards your application. Other things I did were business competitions. For example, DICA is a very large business competition within Southeast Asia. I don't know if you guys have that over here, but that's one thing that I applied and competed in. I also took multiple internships that were not necessarily business, but more of just community and volunteer work. But ultimately, all of these like communication-based internships, anything that shows that you're a communicative person with teamwork will definitely help you when it comes to applying for business. Gerard, if you want to add anything on that.
Gerard, so when you're transferring majors, like say, for example, from chem to like some sort of business major, like are they looking at any sort of like experience you have within business, or is that like is it like applying to college?
Great question. Yeah, great
Mhm.
question. It's pretty simple. I didn't even need to talk to anyone. All you had to do was go to Trident Link. They have a section where you have your major. You just go ahead and switch that major and you're able to switch over. So when you're in your first year, most of the classes that you're taking, well, it's up to you what you want to do. You have the full discretion of how you want to schedule out all your classes. But the smarter route to do is maybe to take your general ed classes first, then maybe your lower divisions if you have the time to do that. Then from there, that kind of leaves you in a place where you haven't taken something that's just required for a specific major. So anything that's specific for a major, I wouldn't take right away, just so you have the option to switch on over. So like, Kevin said before, you're able to switch between these business majors pretty easily. If you notice that the lower division classes, a lot of them are similar to mine. Econ, MGT 45, Econ 5, you have to take a 10 series or 20 series. Same thing with mine, lower division. You need a math 5, or MGT 5, then 10 or 20 series. So it's pretty easy to switch through. You don't even need to ask anyone, but of course we do have counselors that you could ask these things. Just make sure that you don't take anything specific for your class. For example, I don't need to take MGT 71. I needed to take MGT 16. So like if you know that these two majors are something you're looking in to get to, maybe don't take MGT 71 just yet until you for sure know that this is the route that you want to go for.
Yeah, I think this is a good time to segue into Haddie's personal internship programs. So here at Haddie, we have different programs such as sales and entrepreneurship, digital marketing, engineering, and market research. I'm not sure if we have any more than that, but we have everyone except the engineering lead here today. So I think we can start with Gerard. Could you talk a little bit about what the sales and entrepreneurship program is like and like what kind of people you're looking for?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I want to give a little bit of background of the internship program. It's something fairly new that we've kind of put together. Our goal is to kind of standardize the process and bring up more meaningful projects and experiences for our interns. And basically, I kind of hopped into this. I wanted to kind of dive into some of my internship experiences and stuff like that. So like I said before, I'm very entrepreneurial. So like I've always looked at different options, avenues for myself. I've always kind of seized the opportunity myself. And that's how I met Dan. I was working at the gym and we kind of had some conversation about, I heard startup, then I kind of just flocked on over there. Then we had our conversation about her business. Then I kind of got in the realm of talking about business development for her company and how we could kind of scale it to the next level. So I helped her put together the internship program, as well as the sales and marketing software that we use. And basically we put together her CRM system of managing all the contacts and being able to send out all the digital communications from emails and text messages to all our contacts within the Haddee database. So that's pretty much what we've done so far. Let me dive into kind of what the internship programs are so you guys have a visual. So portal.haddee is our part of the software I'm talking about. It's called PXP. And it basically does everything from website building to software management. We'd have social media features as well. So going into the internship programs, like you guys know, Haddee has a variety of options. It's not just engineering and computer science courses. We have English, language, math. We have leadership classes, right? We have a whole variety of different options and everybody's looking to do something. Not everyone's looking to do CS. And that's what we wanted to incorporate in our internship program. Give everyone the ability to kind of try these different things, you know, before you get into college. You know, like we've said, once you're in college, don't worry about it. You could figure out what you want to do. But if you could plan ahead of time and know what you want to do, that gives you a better edge. You know, Kevin's doing a double major. If he knew exactly what he wanted to do beforehand, he has a time to plan out his schedule and do a double major, right? Not just a minor. It's because he knew right away what he wanted to do. But if you're kind of wishy-washy about what you want to do, then you might not have enough time to switch majors, right? So we want to give high school students and college students the ability to kind of figure it out sooner than later so that you have the ability to plan ahead and be at the top of your class. So the three programs that we created through Haddee is digital marketing, sales and entrepreneurship, and software engineering. So on my side for sales and entrepreneurship, it's kind of the business development side is how can we continue to increase revenue for Haddee? And a lot of that is just networking and putting yourself out there, right? So a big part of any business, like I said, is sales. So inside this program, what we want to do is give students the ability to cold call, talk to more people. You know, a lot of people are very scared to talk and, you know, communicate. And I get it. Social anxiety, it's very difficult if people are very nervous of the unknown, right? People don't like to be in a position where they don't know how to do something or they're unaware of where it's going to take them. But, you know, what I've learned from my own sales experiences is it's reps, it's repetition. You know, when I first started working at the gym, yes, I was confident. I know how to talk. I could do it. I could get into it. But there is a little bit of nervousness as well because you haven't done it before. But, you know, over time, once I started to get into it, you've done the reps, you've gone through the same thing over and over again. And that's the only way you learn. It's through repetition and just putting yourself out there. So in this sales and entrepreneurship role, it's giving you the ability to do that, right? So give you ability to make money as well, but also try new things and be a little bit more innovative of how can we make an additional stream of income for Haddee? And what does that take and what do we need to do? How do we need to involve digital marketing and how do we need to involve software engineering to be able to make those business development projects happen? So that's pretty much the S&E program. Digital marketing, we do have leads here, so I don't want to take away from you guys. If you guys want to kind of explain what you've done so far, then I'll kind of dive back into it.
Yeah, so I was the digital marketing lead for this past summer, and then Kevin was actually the lead during the past school year. So I joined Haddee as like an intern under Kevin, and I think what's so nice about the digital marketing internship program is that we welcome everyone with all different types of business experience or people who have none at all, like I did when I joined Haddee. So when I first joined, we do everything in the marketing team from like ad design, blog writing, content production, video production, stuff like that. And what's so special about it is that everyone, like the leads will teach you these skills if you don't have any experience. So we'll teach you technical skills of how to use video production software, how to use like design software. And then we'll also show you like what really goes into like a content production timeline and how like something goes from an idea to being produced and then finally being published and seeing like how much viewership, how many people we can really reach. So I guess the goal of like the marketing program is to kind of put Haddie's name out there. We want to be a place where people can just like think off the top of their head when they need something education related. When they're like, if my kid like needs ACT help, or if my kid needs advice on like college apps, like Haddie is a place where you can get all of that information, whether it be through our courses or even just through our social media, like our TikToks, our Reels, stuff like that. So I would say this program is a really good place to explore what kinds of specific like marketing skills you're like interested in. For me, I learned a lot about video production here. Previously, I only did like ad design, stuff like that. But it's a really good place to kind of broaden your skills and meet a lot of people who are good at different things. Kevin, do you have anything to add? Because you were the previous marketing manager.
Yeah, I think it's just a
Mhm.
really good way to try out really good way to try out new things that you probably have never done before.
Mhm.
I could segue a little bit later to talk about my own market research
Yeah.
program, but when
Mhm.
I did do digital marketing, a lot of students have actually never experienced any type of video production at all, nor have they really been stationed, I guess, in a work environment where they would, conduct weekly meetings or get in team building exercises that just meant to build towards a new product that they've never even touched. So it's a really good way to just try out things that you're definitely going to see in the work environment in the future.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, do you want to talk about your market research team then?
Absolutely. So after I finished my portion of the digital marketing, I actually segued over to become the market research manager. And the difference is that my team is actually a lot smaller now. And instead of being taken over high school interns, all of my interns are now rising college seniors, rising college juniors, who have had some experience within statistics or just um, coding or software development in general. And what we've been doing is we've been conducting market research on one end, specifically within the international student market, especially students coming over from China, because there has been a very large influx in international students within American colleges. We wanted to discover things like, for example, what is the predicted rise in international students here within California over the next 5 years? We also want to discuss, teacher salaries. Based on teacher salary over the last 10 years, has there been a significant rise within education quality? And we've actually written an entire report on that, and we're planning on publishing that on the Haddie website as well as other external locations. And on the other end, we're doing competitor analysis, where I would give my remaining 4 interns 4 different companies to look at, who are also education companies, some startups, some who have been well established over the last couple of years. And I would ask them to conduct, like Gerard said, cold calls. I want them to do investigative journalism, so to speak. I want them to figure out what are their pricings, what are their varieties, what are they doing that we could also learn from, what can we do better? And it's this experience that everyone is going to need in the future, especially for business. And that's why I think this market research internship is a really great opportunity for people who are also dipping their toes in, but have some experience in the past already.
Mhm. Yeah, I totally agree. Um, the last intern program would be the software engineering program. Gerard, could you cover that for us?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to go over sum it up. Digital marketing, even sales and entrepreneurship, it's very broad if you just say those two. We
Mhm.
talked about, content creation all the way from market research. Those are all different aspects of the business and why they're kind of beneficial for the business, right? So like, of course, content creation is just trying to build traffic for the business of getting people to know what Haddie is. Whereas market research is more of that C-level suite type of mindset of now that we have this information about all these different education companies, how can we transition or how can we strategize as a company to get more of a market share in San Diego? So it's all about strategizing for market research and content creations about how do you have an eye and what really grabs people's attention, right? So that's pretty much those two, sales and entrepreneurship. It's great. You're given the opportunity to sell yourself and, bring in revenue. And even if you don't want to, a lot of our interns, they've hopped between different internship positions because, we're young, we don't know what we want to do. So it gives you the opportunity to kind of hop back and forth and figure out what you want to do. And I think everyone should do SNE. Why? It's because when you apply for any job, you have an interview and you have to sell yourself there, right? So it's not just for sales representatives where you're going to be talking to people. You're always talking to people in any position. So having the ability to experience that early on is really beneficial for your success. So moving on to software engineering, a lot of the stuff that we do here, it's really geared, of course, to anyone in the data science or computer science realm, if you're looking to get into that. So we have two types of roles, project engineer and software developer. And as I show you guys here, this is our main website. This is the Haddee.com that was created with all custom code. And, nothing's perfect. We every big company, Amazon, has their own engineers that they currently have. Of course, every social media, they always update your apps, right? And always change something out. So it's not like you make a website, then you're done with it. If you want to stay relevant in any business, you have to continue to keep advancing. So it's always a need. So in this roles, we give, interns the opportunity to try it out. We have different business development projects specifically in engineering that kind of move along our platform. So, we have a lot of different things from design layout that we want to change. So we're working on different things. For example, we have m.haddee.com, right? That's something that we released in the last couple months, where this is like the mobile version for Haddee, right? And, nothing's perfect. There's a lot of things that we want to go ahead and change. We recently released the chat version that you're able to do. So you have options to do these different features, but you need to continue to develop them. There's bugs and all these different things. So we give these interns the opportunity to try it out. So you're put into a engineering team. You have a engineering lead in charge of a specific project, and you have that project engineer facilitate the project and you help move it along. So it's different things from, we had just released our dashboard design. So we actually wanted to create some analytical reports about the Haddee database of how much revenue are we bringing in for a specific month? How many people are clicking on this specific link? We wanted to create a dashboard where we're able to see that. So just to give you BI dashboard, what we created for, I can't pull it up since I have to log in, but just to show you, we wanted to create something like this for Haddee, where you're able to kind of see where our business is doing from a financial standpoint. So that's a specific project that one project engineer was in charge of. Then he was assigned some software developer interns to help, move along that project. Then, there's a lot of different things from UI, UX design that we want to change. A lot of different things. There's so many different options that you could go about changing things. So we kind of give these interns the opportunity to try it out. And specifically for project engineer, it's a different role. Software developer, you're actually hands-on doing like the coding and trying out different things. Whereas project engineer is, if you work for a actual engineering company, they have deadlines. They have actual things. It's called agile project management, where you have a deadline, but you have to work on certain projects at one time. So it's working on a specific thing with a team. You're given a specific task, a software feature that you want to go ahead and develop. And it's difficult. It's very difficult because you have a deadline. So in this role, we give project engineers the ability to take the wheel and figure out how to handle the projects and work with a team. Like we've said before, a lot of these interns don't have experience. So if you're given a team of 4 and 2 interns are very successfully skilled at Python, but the other 2 aren't, how are you going to maneuver your team and giving everybody a project weekly, but also move it along, right? You don't want to leave those 2 interns doing nothing, then these 2 are carrying the load. How can you divvy up all the work to be done in a efficient and optimized way, right? So this is more of a managerial role. Why do we have this role? Is so that when you graduate for a college CS major, do you want to just get a software engineering role entry level, or can you already go ahead and get a higher level as a product manager or a senior software engineer, right? Because you have the experience of project management, and that's something that's beneficial so that you kind of have a leg up in the employment race.
This is great. Yeah. So Gerard, do you want to also show on the Haddee website about
Sure.
the partner internships that we're going to
Sure.
bring in? Yeah, we haven't really formalized, but they're gradually coming in. Mhm.
Which
Machine
internships?
learning, like the machine learning internship, right?
Oh yeah, machine learning.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have a lot of partnerships with a lot of businesses in the area that are looking for internships as well. And they're more specific for their business. So Exokind is an AI startup. So they're doing a lot of machine learning engineering work. So if you're looking to actually get into this type of field, this is the perfect internship for you, right? Is because it's not just super broad projects, but specifics in areas that you want to dive into. So machine learning, and just different things. So we're continuing to constantly update this page and continue to find other businesses looking for internships. So, weekly, go ahead and check this out. We're always going to be adding new things onto here. So depending on what you're looking for, and if there's any specific jobs that you guys are interested in later, go ahead and chat us and let us know what stuff you're looking for, so that we could kind of make those connections with businesses, so that maybe we could give you the opportunity to put those internship positions here on our Haddee website.
Yeah, because that's great. So just very simple comment. Once you start college, especially the junior year, and that's where the biggest year that you trying to pursue a paid intern, and that paid intern will come back with a return offer a year later when you graduate, right? So all the paid interns, they're very thorough. Most companies, they would require 2 references from your previous employers. Okay, so that employer can be the paid or unpaid, but somebody manage you and know about your capability in a team environment. So I just want to emphasize that. So getting internship experience working in a team environment is very, very important. And it's the age of working as an intern is getting younger and younger now in these days.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
for
like
sure.
Amy pointed out, in the video content creation side, there's softwares that you're going to be using. For the project engineering side, there's going to be softwares that you're going to be using to manage your projects. So when you put your resume together, you need those references, but it's great that you have specific experience in the softwares that company uses, right? So like what we're transitioning our internship program is, a lot of companies use Slack. They use a lot of these different software, communication tools. If we use them already for our internship program, you already have a leg up to get that position, that paid internship.
Yeah. We only have around 8 minutes left, so I just want to take this time to open it up to any questions. You guys can go ahead and put it in the chat or just unmute, and we can do our best to answer them.
Or you guys can ask here as well, just to, just ask.
If anyone has any questions.
No questions at all? That's rare. Okay, interesting. Okay, so now I have questions for Gerard. Okay,
Sure.
and do you have to have an engineering interest in the STEM interest to pursue an engineering intern?
No, I don't think so. You could get into it. Like I said, I don't specifically have any experience in learning about Python or Java or any of these languages, but I'm young, and it takes me a day to pick up any software and learn how to use it. So you don't need any experience to get into it, but it's beneficial. Like I said, Amy's trying to get into product management. She started off in marketing, but software is a new field. Tech is big. The tech industry is up and coming. So if you want to get into that, but you're a business major, you could maybe minor in CS, right? Or you could just get internships that are related in engineering projects. So that gives you the experience that you need, right? For me specifically, I have no CS major or minor attached to me, but I'm doing engineering projects and facilitating the development of that. So when I go ahead and apply for these bigger jobs later, I could do that because I actually have experience working on these projects. It's because I could actually show that. So of course, what we're working on the Haddee side, right? One of the development projects that we're looking for is we're trying to create public profiles for not only educators, but for students. So inside this educator profile or the student profile, we want you to be able to put the different projects that you're doing. So you have something to show. You have these different projects, actual things that you could show a company that you've done before.
Okay, that's great. Okay, awesome. So I just have one more comment before I forget, is that Haddee has become a certifying organization for the how to pronounce that word? A presidential service award. So when you volunteer like for 100 hours and then different age, you get different award. I personally not very big in talking about award and getting award. My kids did a lot of volunteer hours and we never applied for any award, but a lot of parents and students want it. So we're qualified to help you apply for those volunteer award and apply your volunteer hours toward those award. Just let you guys know. So this internship can be mixed use for getting practical experience working with team, but also can be used as volunteer hours. So just let you guys know, okay? Okay, so we need to have at least one question from the audience. There's just none at all? That shy audience? Okay, I'm gonna call names, some people I know. Fiona, any questions?
Are you guys planning on like expanding your internship field anymore besides just like the 3 that you have right now? Like what topic would you plan on expanding if you could?
Everything. Well, the market research one, that was something that we haven't even included in our original internship program, but it was something that we kind of just needed for the business. So we're continuing to expand it and kind of, it's a trial and error, of course. So like we're changing out names, changing the position title names. So it's always something that we're always changing. So yes, we're looking to expand our internship program and add on other positions. So feel free to let us know what you're looking to get into so that maybe we could put a position for that. Then there was also another question about internships. Are they open to high schoolers? Yes, they're open to high schoolers as well. We have like maybe like even 50. It's like 50% of our interns currently are high schoolers. So all grades, sophomores, juniors, and seniors as well. So yes, high schoolers are allowed to apply for internship programs.
Mm-hmm. We're very few companies that really offer extensive internships to high school students.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So Fiona, just to add to answer your questions, and Gerard, share about Youth Academy, that what we have talked about in the afternoon, that how we want to expand as being a nonprofit organization. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Youth Academy. Yeah, yes. I mean, like we said, there's a lot of companies out there that are looking for help in this whole digital space, right? You don't need to know coding to do something on the digital, right? Website design and making a website nowadays, you don't need to make it from the ground up. There's already builders out there, website builders that you can make websites with. All you really need to know now is how to design the website. How do you have an eye? What colors to choose? And that's a little bit more of marketing. So a lot of companies are looking to utilize those things. And if you go to any professional company, any marketing agency to do these things, they'll charge you an arm and a leg to be able to make a website. They'll charge you $5,000 to make you a WordPress website. And they just drag and dropped. They didn't do anything but drag and dropped. They found images on Google. They didn't do much, and they charging you $5,000. So the beauty of what we're trying to create is a lot of these students, these younger students, could pick up a lot of these software tools pretty quick. And giving you the ability to try these out not only helps the company, helps these nonprofits, but helps you out as well, giving you those practical experiences and knowledge of these softwares. So it goes hand in hand. And of course, we're an education company. Our business model, we're not making the most profit because our goal is to help educators make money. So most of our marketing is not to market Haddee, it's to market these educators so that they have a job and that they're able to maybe make a stable income out of our platform. So it's really here to help the community, and we're continuing to grow. And our goal is to be in a spot where we're able to help out all these businesses and give them the opportunity to scale their own business.
Yeah, so Youth Academy is a nonprofit, and it's in Chula Vista. It's in underserved areas. So Fiona, so basically is Gerard, that the tool, the CRM tool, and Haddee, we go hand in hand. We can help different businesses. That the business can be a restaurant or can be a research organization. We can work with scripts, and so the jobs, the opportunities and industries will get more diverse. But the key is how we set up the structure to streamline it. That's a challenge for this team here, and with all of your help. Yeah.
And mainly our goal is to just put the right people in place that are, willing to help. Our goal is, there's so much I could teach. Like, we have a lot of interns and that we're bringing in, and we're teaching them a lot of the softwares. But if you want to learn, let's say, video editing, our goal is maybe to find someone that's already experienced in film, right? And could be that mentor for these interns so that they learn how to maybe utilize these video editing softwares to the full capability, right? So our goal is to keep expanding, keep bringing on more mentors to help these students out.
Great. Any other questions? Amy, any other questions we have?
I don't see any in the chat.
Can I ask one more?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So for Kevin and Amy, you guys are super young, okay? And so hats off to both of you that you're willing to step up and take over the management role, okay? And so, go on LinkedIn, say you worked at Haddee as a manager, which is very rare, okay? For a freshman or rising sophomore in college, right? And so I want to hear from you to the management experience. Is it challenging, and how do you overcome the challenges, and what are the challenges of managing people?
Yeah, I can speak about this first. I want to say, the beauty of working with Haddee and in such a young company is that there really is a lot of opportunities for whatever sort of professional growth that you're looking for. So for me, I reached out to Dan saying I would be interested in management positions and some HR experience too. And that was readily accessible for me. And by doing this summer and managing this digital marketing team, I really found a love for management. And I think that's an experience that is so valuable that you wouldn't be able to find at just any other company, right? And going into it, there definitely were challenges because I don't know if you guys know, but so I'm an incoming freshman. I'm only 17, and I was managing college students, right? And part of me was I'm totally underqualified. They're not going to listen to me, whatever. But really, the Haddee staff is here to support you, and I was very fortunate to work with people that were very respectful and hardworking, like Fiona or Chris, who are here in the audience right now. But overall, I would say it was just a great experience. And there's a lot of support there if you need it. And whenever I had any issues, either working with my interns or just doing the technical work, there was always support there. So I could not be more grateful to have this opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you, Amy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, from my experience, honestly, it was really humbling experience to be able to work with other people who had a lot of same aspirations as me. For my market research internship, a lot of these people were also really interested in statistics, really interested in pursuing their own business careers. And it was just really nice to be able to work with people who wanted to pursue their careers as well and were very determined to do so. When I manage digital marketing, the biggest difference I would say is that between high school students and college students, and this isn't a bad thing, it's just that high school students don't have a clear direction just yet compared to just a college senior who already knows where they want to go. All of my interns are searching for jobs already, searching for high-end upper, internships from other large corporations. And I did everything I could to help them as well as doing it myself. And this early experience for me was something that really opened my eyes up to the fact that there are a lot of people with similar interests as you. And there are a lot of people who are willing to work with you. You just have to be able to communicate with them. That's the biggest thing. If you're able to, get in their text messages, send them a text saying, hey, let's meet up, let's talk, let's work on this together. That is already 50% of the work done. The other 50% is for them to bounce it back at you. And when that happens, it's really beautiful because you're able to get so much done and you really do enjoy it along the way.
That's great. Yeah. Anything to add, Gerard?
I think the only thing I would like to say is the management is difficult, and Amy and Kevin have done a tremendous job of juggling between high school and college students, and hats off to them. And it's difficult because how do you communicate? Everybody communicates differently, right? If you need to double check on like a project or a task that an intern is working, do you send an email? Do you give them a call? Do you send them a text message? Like, what's the formal or informal way to handle the communication? And in this program, you kind of figure out what's the best way, to do that. And I'm glad that I have them here, and you guys are doing an amazing job. So thank you guys so much for all the hard work you guys have put in.
Thank you all. That's great. So I think I want to end on time because Amy needs to go and you're leaving for Cornell, and have a great trip, and just dress warmly in the winter. Okay?
Thank you so much.
You will miss us, okay, Amy?
I really will.
So, okay, so we'll let you guys go. I will stay here in case some parents have some questions for a few minutes, and you guys go and have a beautiful dinner. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.